Yeah, I'll be streaming for a bit today. Yeah, I mean the live stream and spaces have really terrible UX, especially for hosting. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Oh, that's good. I'm just trying to finish my daily streak. I I, I could do YouTube only, but I like because I'm streaming on all of them. It doesn't really like matter as much because I have the chat for all of them in one place. I mean, it's fragmented for the users, but if I'm not getting people to join anyway, then I don't really lose anything by having them in separate places. But people mostly like YouTube. I've noticed that people mostly like YouTube. Yeah. Okay, so I can switch to the live scene as well, I believe. Yeah. Finally. Okay. Yeah, this is the last live stream for daily live streams. Maybe I'll end up doing more. Are not daily, occasionally, a couple times a week, perhaps. I don't think I can do them daily. Not in this format, at least. And I noticed some message on X about how long I've been live streaming. Actually, only like perhaps a little bit more than a month. But I have a feeling I like literally don't know what the question is, but I'll respond later. But I've been streaming for like a couple weeks, maybe like a month, and just a couple times a week, including like a break for a couple. So this week only been like streaming every day. Man, I'm out, and I even have the yesterday's tab still open here on the guest profile, which apparently I never closed. But yeah, I actually know that Kathleen has been already reworking this. I won't be leaking how it looks right now, but it looks better. At least, in my opinion, what's gonna come will be looking much better. And also, like I already saw the headline and the subheading and the call to action. It looked more interesting. Like I wanted to actually know what the offer is. Like I have access to the course, but it just made me feel like I would like to know what the offer is when it's positioned that way. So there's some good things I think coming out of these live streams. Yesterday was also like, okay, so like I guess I can like weekly wrap up. So um um I based so I did multiple roasts. Katalin, Yuri. It was actually first donation directly related to the stream. So yesterday's stream where I did the roasts, I did one roast and the second one was revisiting the previous roast, so wasn't much of a roast anymore. But I actually got a first donation essentially yesterday, for like you could say $30 if I round it up by 2 cents. There's an action directly related, yeah, related stream. So technically, yesterday was the first profitable live stream out of all of these I've done so far. And I've done other roasts on live streams as well, but this week I did Catalin's. I revisited this one, Yuri's project, and before that we were roasting the Catalan project, which actually, like, I hope he actually manages to start selling even more courses, because I know he also started updating the profile page, like Onyx, which I also mentioned that perhaps the link to the courses should be there. What else I did on these live streams this week was that I had a Black Friday campaign prep talk with Francesco. It was not structured. It was not structured at all, but we did revisit some important points, I believe, how you should actually be actively preparing for Black Friday, and you should create the awareness already a couple weeks, if not months, before Black Friday, so you're always on top of the mind of people who are perhaps expecting your discounts, and sometimes you need to remind them that they need to be expecting your discounts. Because I also know a couple products even on Amazon that I'll probably would buy if there's a Black Friday discount, and without the discount it's maybe a 50-50. But if there's a good discount, I'm like buying like 90%. And this, I believe this live stream actually provided quite a lot of value, even if it was pretty long and maybe not as structured. That links are actually on my YouTube channel. I mean, YouTube channel actually has all the historic, all the history basically from my live streams. I could actually share that as well, probably. Yeah, I should actually share this channel. I don't know why I don't actually link it anywhere, but it would be nice if you guys actually subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Yeah, like the YouTube channel. I mean, I can mention it here, but I also should, I guess, post it in the Streamlabs. Maybe I should set up a bot that actually reminds people. Subscribe. I just don't like the spammy nature of it when you actually don't have viewers, because then all your chat is basically spammed with like requests like, yeah, subscribe here, subscribe there. That's what I hate, because I don't have like an active chat with them appearing like everywhere. Okay, so this tab only sends the messages. Yeah, I'm just gonna send messages to all these chats. So you have the opportunity to subscribe if you want to. I would appreciate it. I will be putting more videos out there. I guess I can show it on the guest. Yeah, I can show it in the guest mode as well. So yeah, because mostly it only has the library of the live streams. It has one video, is the actually a hot version of a live stream, one of the first live streams about job boards. An SEO for job boards. I think it was quite value packed, although I don't directly work with job boards. I've only had limited exposure to it. So that from SEO perspective, I have actually looked through a couple job boards, including Peter Level's Remote OK, which is the reason why I got blocked by him. But one of the main reasons I got blocked by him was actually we started arguing about SEO. I still believe his SEO for that job board actually is not great. Like, his SEO in terms of backlinks is great, but the way he set up the structure for the site unfortunately means he doesn't rank page one on for many keywords he should be ranking on page one, just because of the pure backlink and authority he has built offsite for that brand and himself. So there's a, I would say that, but I don't touch as much on that here. It's actually a discussion with Christian, who has a XR, so like mixed extended reality, like AR, VR job board, and we discussed with him. So I kind of helped him with his new job board. So there was a lot of discussion about how you could categorize your content, how you would pull the data in for your job listings, etc. And that was actually around in this conversation. So it's still a long video because I only cut the conversation down, but mostly just a list of recordings. So there's like what, 14 videos? I guess 13 live streams then. Yep, no. 14 live streams. And yeah, these are the weeklies. Roblox SEO course. I did actually go over Roblox here. I opened Roblox Studio, went over a little bit of like dealing with Roblox, like monetization in Roblox. Tried developing just a little bit in Roblox Studio as well, but I am planning to release that Roblox SEO course in Roblox. That was how I started the week, and I'm not sure I'm gonna end the week that way, but that will be probably a really big challenge for me to actually do the SEO course in Roblox. But yeah, I no. To be fair, okay, I see Travis is in the and the X chat. Yeah, he didn't block me over the fact that he muted me, I believe, over the SEO discussion because it was pretty heated, and he basically told me that what I'm saying is like some a decade old SEO advice or something. Well, it wasn't even like a decade old SEO advice, although the basics generally have been staying the same for SEO, like the internal linking and the content pillars, the way you set them up are absolutely like the categorization of topics is absolutely like a very 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 old SEO knowledge, you know. And he was sort of like, no, it's all about experience. It's all about the customer experience. You know, like, yeah, it is. Like, you shouldn't spam your page with ads and make sure they just bounce after like 5 seconds. That's not going to help your SEO. However, he did argue in some threads with me that that it's it's the old school SEO. No, nowadays it's different. You know, it's all about the experience. You need to improve the performance of the page, which is true. And I even argued that as well. Like the Lighthouse, the page speed insights you have. I can actually pull this up. Let me. But I'm talking about performance. We're talking about this. So this, I believe it's remote. Okay, is it .com.io? I don't even remember. Am I looking at the correct site? Because it's currently failing. Oh no. Am I actually looking at the correct site? I am. So his site is currently failing for Web Vitals assessment on mobile and passing on desktop. Now this thing alone, like the fact that he's failing this means he's getting penalty on mobile for users on mobile. He's ranking lower for mobile users just because he's failing this. He argued it's all about performance, but now he's the one failing the performance metrics on mobile. He probably hasn't paid attention to this for a long time. Honestly, like the time to first byte, like 1.1 second, that's like, I guess one PHP file is not working out that well for him, is he? But yeah, so here we can see that we're actually failing to pass everything except cumulative layout shift. Wow. Anyway, he argued that it's all about the experience, how the user interacts with the page, and then the performance, which is part of the experience. And I said, you only need to pass Core Web Vitals assessment, which he is, as of now, failing on mobile, which is the most of the users. He's failing it on mobile. So yeah, wow, it's actually I should actually tweet that later probably. I don't want to tweet it on the stream but I should tweet that later. So he's anyway. So we argued about that, and he said it's all about the experience of it. And I said, yeah, if you pass this Web Vitals assessment, you're not getting a penalty. So if you're not getting a penalty, everything's fine. Yes, better performance helps a little bit with like couple percent bounce rate reduction, like relative, not absolute numbers of bounce rate, like relative numbers. But if you're passing that Web Vitals assessment, you'll be okay from Google's side. And the actual experience of the site, of course, it improves the session times and the bounce rates, so it helps, but that's not what his problem at the time was. Like I was specifically saying it's not the problem you have right now. Your bottleneck is somewhere else. And it's still the same, by the way. He improved some of the things we talked about because I think he might have hired someone to do it. However, there's structurally still a lot of problems. But yeah, this is failing, so he's getting a penalty. Anyway, it's actually pretty bad. Like the blocking time, 1.5 seconds blocking time. Yeah, okay. And then later I continued being, I guess, a little bit annoying. So I think he muted me after the SEO conversation, but I think I continued being a little bit annoying in his replies about other subjects as well. So he actually left a message before he blocked me, be like, yeah, you're being too controversial in my replies or something, and then he blocked me. Yeah. So I went from being followed by him to being blocked by him the same day. But he had muted me while I was followed by him. So he was like, "Oh, I muted you, but you're still showing up." Well, I guess I should continued showing up because he was following me while still had muted me. I think Twitter, like perhaps the follow was overriding the mute. I don't know how it worked, but I guess it was. Oh yeah, I actually want to. Yeah. Remote. I actually want to write that down so don't forget. Remote OK. Failing. Core Web Vitals assessment. Now I can even explain what Core Web Vitals assessment is. It actually shows here. So Core Web Vitals assessment is that for real Chrome users, all Chrome versions, that's the sample data for the last 28 days, which collects the data, various mobile devices. This is mobile specific though, but there's a desktop too. He's not failing the desktop one. So it collects data for last 28 days, full visit, all Chrome versions. So it collects the Chrome data from all the users on the last 28 days, and you need to meet the Google specific metrics for largest contentful faint, which basically how long it takes to basically render all the elements on the above the fold that the user will see, the interaction to next paint, which is a little bit of that input lag you have. Cumulative layout shift is shift. It's how much the content jumps while it's loading. So if you're actually not assigning the like fixed height for elements and then you're actually replacing them on the fly, you sometimes get this jumping feeling, like just jumps around the content. That actually ends up failing this metric if you have like the content that jumps up and down. It sometimes happens with like announcement banners as well, if they're just appear on the page after the rest of the page loads. So you need for those all those Chrome users in the last 28 days, for 75% of them, you need to meet the good metric that is defined by Google. It has not changed, except that this year they replaced one of the old metrics with interaction to next paint. But these metrics have generally stayed the same. Even the values have stayed the same, I believe, for a couple of years now. Maybe even like 5 years. I don't know. I don't think they have changed the values, like what represents good. But if 75% of your users, Chrome users, not Safari or whatever, Chrome users meet these metrics, you'll be fine. All of them. Actually, not all of them. Time to first byte actually can be ignored because it's still an experimental metric right now, right? Yeah, so it actually can be ignored. It's experimental. Only these four. These three actually count as core web vital, and then this is a notable metric. Yeah. So these three, if you meet them, your site's fine. If you don't meet them, you'll have like a minor penalty. And yes, you should have used Phoenix. Maybe you should have just written it in C. But yeah, I think actually it's nice that I actually found this. Managed to actually find this one. I just randomly decided to look it up, and here he doesn't fail to deliver. You know, he always has something that I can pick up. Just that's something that I can just pick up on. But yeah. Anyway, his site failed. Yes, failed my live stream. Oh yeah, desktop is actually for him is fine-ish. You can see that the notable metrics are failing, and the desktop is barely scraping by. But you see it often for the sites like they're around like this. But that's actually the risky area. I can't 100% tell, but generally for sites, 80% of the traffic nowadays is mobile. You can expect that maybe for job search, you have a little bit more desktop users. I don't know specifically, like because I don't have the specific metrics. Even if I use some of those sites that estimate the traffic, they're pretty inaccurate. So I would generally assume that it's still 70-ish%. So those should be on mobile. And the desktop users, they seem to be fine. They're still like when you see this, like it's like 19 milliseconds and you're starting to fail. I would say you need like this healthy margin. Here you would aim for like below 2 seconds ideally, just to make sure you always have that margin that you add some random change to your website, maybe some extra scripts or something, and suddenly you're failing, but you don't notice it. Because this has a lagging period. This report comes 28-day collection period. So if you implement something now, you only start seeing the values decrease in like a couple weeks. And normally people don't daily follow up on this. There is for example, Shopify now actually implements it in the admin panel. So you can actually follow up on the metrics in your admin panel instead. So you kind of, if you're at least going to that theme section where you're kind of editing the site, you will notice that your store is having some issues with the performance. At least that's, I can definitely show that because I actually can show that. Yeah, there's nothing sensitive I'm leaking right now. Except for the fact that I'm not, yeah, whatever. I can quickly show this from my store. On Shopify, you would have something like this. And here, this is for the last month, I guess. My sessions are 82% desktop, and it's because it's mostly actually me who's being on desktop, and those are mostly my sessions. And there were some bot sessions a couple days ago, and apparently they were from desktop. But I have visual stability that's apparently poor. So I might be failing that cumulative layout shift. See, I'm actually failing it. I have no idea which elements are actually jumping around on it's probably on the front page. Maybe the newsletter is like sliding out or something. But for me currently it doesn't matter because I have no SEO content on this site. But for someone like running a job board, it matters a lot. But if you like have a landing page and you don't have any like you just have a landing page, launch the product and you have no SEO content, it doesn't actually matter much for you to like optimize it because you won't be receiving any like SEO traffic at the time. You want to optimize it when you actually, okay, the project's actually working out, I'm getting sales, and then you'll be like, okay, am I meeting all these metrics and everything? But if you are running like a job board, like programmatic SEO sites, you definitely want to be looking at the metrics. And you can just run your site. You don't need to always look at the core web vitals because if you don't have traffic, this value will not be generated. If I look at my site, it will just say no data. It will say just no data for the discover what real users are experiencing. No data. You need like thousands of visitors actually to the site in that period for it to actually like show the metrics. So, however, it will show me it will basically now emulate on a device, and it will show me the metrics as they approximately see them. Now, this doesn't tell me much. It only tells me that my mobile performance is 68, and I believe the remote OK had the same. But what it does say is that allegedly it has 3-second blocking time, which is weird because it was not actually failing here on these. It was actually really good metrics on the both of them. I would actually be a little bit concerned there's a huge variance like run to run, because this is not a real user. This is actually emulated Moto G power. I have no idea who still uses something like this. And slow 4G throttling. Real users are not running this device with slow 4G throttling. When you emulate this here, you actually get like the worst of the worst case scenario for like a Western country. Like, I don't know, maybe you're riding a metro somewhere where it's deep underground and you're getting like very bad signal. That like you may be emulating something like that, and you're running like a old Android from 5-6 years ago. That even that one will, unless you're buying like the budget version, like the budget model, probably be performing way better. Um, Dennis, what did you mean by how do they measure these because they don't host all the content? What did you? What, I'm just trying to figure out what you meant by that. Is it are we talking about Shopify, or I get a little bit confused about the hosting part. Because what what Shopify does, they actually just run their own they basically run their own bots that will just emulate that Chrome Lighthouse test. Just like you can do it in Chrome, actually. You can locally, if I do this inspect, I can here run a Lighthouse report on a Chromium device. I think they just run, I believe they run that, or they actually run through the Google servers and they just check and report what Google showed, or they run on their own. I actually have not read through this, what they, how they do it. Oh, yeah, but yeah, Shopify is hosting everything, actually. You can do proxies where you have specific URLs through which you can proxy a third-party page. So some apps do that, and you can also set up your own custom like implementations that way. However, whatever you see on Shopify pages is hosted on Shopify. So you can host custom data. You can now host quite a lot of custom like pages as well, technically, where you build them out. But all the code technically is executed on Shopify, except for those proxy pages. I mean, they optimize the content. Yeah, there's a CDN. Like you can, in the code, you can actually pass like what kind of resolution image you want to show. You can define basically, and it will just generate. It will just return the 60 pixel width image, or it will return full HD resolution image. You can just in the code define like what kind of resolution image you want to be returned. So technically they optimize, and you also define like to what level you want to also optimize it. So for product imagery, that means the thumbnails are usually requested at a very small resolution, although they're the same images. You're not uploading separate thumbnails. You're just requesting the same image to be generated and returned to the lower resolution. So yeah, they actually do a lot of optimization on their end in terms of how much they're hosting on the agent, etc. for like all the stores. It's incredible. I have no idea how they manage to because they don't even make money from the subscription. For example, you also get like 20% referral fee for referring stores. So 20% of the subscription actually goes to the referrals often. So then there's a lot of referrals, when working with agencies and whoever sets up the store for you. So the Shopify just has a subscription fee as a way to be compared to other vendors, e-commerce platforms that also mainly run subscription businesses, because Shopify differs that they charge they be- they charge they make money from the application developers because they take the percentage cut of the application sales and in-app sales that are supporting the merchant ecosystem, and then on top of it they're making a fee from each transaction on the Shopify platform. So on the base plan, that means it's 2% for anyone that's outside the Shopify payments. So that means outside the US, Canada, and like using a third party payment provider basically. And with Shopify payments, which is Stripe, it's actually Stripe, they charge like 2.9%, I believe. So they're taking a cut there, their own part of the cut, and the rest goes to Stripe. And that's their business model. Yeah, I think they use I assume they use a lot of Cloudflare and other providers. I'm not entirely sure which. I know that most of it, their ecosystem was for a long time and probably still is hosted on Google servers. I remember that there was a Google server outage and Shopify was down for most of the merchants. Like there were a couple hours once. And that has not been happening as frequently in the last couple of years, but before, when there were like these big Black Friday events, they would do some stress tests with their new infrastructure updates, like couple weeks usually before Black Friday or a couple months before Black Friday, and they would get a couple outages because something went wrong. And there was also when I believe once there was a Google server outage, and then Shopify also went down. But they have been way more resilient lately. So I assume they have actually also spread out the redundancy on the infrastructure, because I feel it's been way more stable. Like I have over the last year, I don't remember like these major issues. There probably was some, but I have not remember even this like the small outages where you have like merchants complaining that their store is out. That was last year. There were still, I remember from last year, but this year I actually felt like it's been way more stable. Yeah, it's interesting to some. I'll probably later also actually check. Haven't actually spent as much time on it, but yeah, the Shopify. I don't need the reports. The Shopify actually tells you the performance numbers if you go into the themes section. And you would often go into that section because you would be modifying your campaigns, you would be modifying your banners, you'd be maybe changing something in a template. So you would be visiting that section quite frequently. So if you just don't go on autopilot and you just see that there's like an issue, you'd be paying attention. So that helps. But we're returning back to this, yeah. So I have this data for mobile, and for desktop it says 79%. Oh yeah, here I actually don't have issues with cumulative layout shift, but on the Shopify's report, I actually had issues with the cumulative layout shift. So there's a chance that from those runs which Shopify did, I for some reason had worse runs when they tested. There's sometimes the issue that also when you're testing from a different region, basically your audience might be purely like US, for example, but the server it tests from, for example, would be in Italy. And suddenly you have some kind of inconsistency at what kind of elements appear, like some kind of, for example, GDPR cookie appears on the top, while your audience, so the server location by IP, you have this cookie appearing based on the IP address. So you have this cumulative layout shift issue that the cookie banner is actually changing the content appearing while it's loading the page, and you end up having the performance issue on Google's side when you check, but your audience doesn't actually care because they are in the US. And then if you run the test yourself and the server they pick is, for example, in Italy, you would see that, and you would see this issue with like cumulative layout shift failing. But for your actual users who would be in the US and which Google would actually take into account for the core web vitals, assessment, it wouldn't matter. Like they would not have see the cookie banner, for example, if it's IP based, and you would just not have the penalty. But you would start optimizing because you would do the local run, and you would start optimizing for something that's not even an issue. That's actually the issue. That's a very classic issue when you run in with running these local per session tests and also local tests in Chrome. Like you can learn the Lighthouse test. You run in those issues that only show up locally or running in this page, but they don't exist for real users. Like this has been a constant issue, and that's a lot of issues where actually a lot of money by agencies is sometimes made. There's like these issues that don't matter, but they're like, oh no, when you look at the audit, it looks bad. You know, you need to fix this, and you just charge people money for it. And because the merchant doesn't know better, or whatever client, whatever who's running the site doesn't know better, they will just spend money. Once this whole Google page speed insights, Google Lighthouse thing came out and became like more popular, they were like, yeah, it's gonna impact your rankings on Google. The agencies were making a killing with this. I've done quite a lot of these performance audits as well and fixing it, so I've made some money with it too. Although in retrospect, I have also been guilty of sometimes optimizing something that I didn't need to do because it wouldn't have mattered. It just takes time for you to actually recognize that you're part of the system where Google is just where you're doing something technically for benefit of no one, but it's Google who benefits from this the most, because if you're optimizing your site, it takes less resources for them to crawl your page. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm an expert of everything. I just have done some things. And I have done some things more than others. And unfortunately, this performance optimization has been one thing I've done quite a lot. And it's and I want to say that it's mostly pointless to do as long as you're not failing these things. Some people still believe it's incredibly important, but it's not. It takes a while for you to actually go through all those things to realize that it's not actually as important as people tell you. That's like a problem with many things. Like you get stuck in this micro things, I guess, the micro optimization, and you kind of ignore like the bigger picture, that actually those micro things don't matter as much. And yes, for generally for any product, you end up, I guess, going back to the fact that it's actually marketing that matters a lot. And marketing can mean anything. It can be like your own I guess your own like trust and authenticity, and also like how trustworthy you are, like it's everything. It's not just like some kind of marketing campaigns and running ads and etc. It's also obviously you being authentic and everything. And yeah, if you're going that engineers way, and even for clients, like people who think in engineers way often convince clients that there's a problem, because they can logically convince you that there's this thing wrong and there's this thing wrong, and they create a FOMO for you, because they tell you, yeah, because these things are wrong, you'll have this problem, and that problem will cause you to lose this. And they might tell you, yeah, you will lose 5% conversions. And like when they tell you like 5% you will lose 5% conversions, for example, like when you think 5% conversions, it sounds like big, because in your brain you might be thinking about 0% conversion rate and 5% conversion. You're not thinking relative terms. You're not thinking 1% conversion rate and 1.05% conversion rate. You actually start thinking like 0% conversion rate and 5%, or 1 and 6. And then you're like, holy shit, I'm losing so many sales. But your brain doesn't automatically jump to the relative comparison, that you'll be like, okay, I have a 2% conversion rate, so 5% conversion rate improvement or loss is actually 0.1%. And that 0.1% sometimes, let's just say, investing those resources, you could have invested the same resources somewhere else and even not get the higher conversion rate, but you could just get more users for the same money. Spend it on ads, you just get more users, and even with the same conversion rate, you get more sales through. So that's more of a like a small micromanaging thing, like in e-commerce. It's obviously for those who are very, 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 very because the margins are lower in e-commerce, people are very wary of the any expenses. So they're like, if you start talking about like some kind of small numbers, if they understand and if they do the math correctly, like higher 7-figure, 8-figure e-commerce businesses, they'll understand what you mean, like by 5% relative. They'll be like, yeah, whatever, like I don't even care about it. I just putting my money in ads because my return on ads is good, so I don't even want to bother with this. I'll spend that money elsewhere. And at some point they might return, be like, okay, we actually did really good in sales, I guess we could optimize a little bit here. That they wouldn't be thinking in these like these small things, because honestly they would be thinking, how do we reach more people, how do we maybe optimize the actual funnel. So we focus on like also checkout completion, because honestly, for example, if you go from because sometimes you have a shipping fee issue and your checkout completion is actually like 30%. Basically checkout completion meaning people who land on the checkout page versus people who actually complete the checkout, so make an order, place an order. If that's like 30%, that's generally relatively low. You would actually want to aim for like 70 and 80. So if you can go from like 30% checkout completion to 70%, you're actually doubling the sales. Your absolute, like your conversion number in absolute numbers has doubled. So those small, so it's more, in many cases it's more beneficial for you to look at the bigger funnel things and see where maybe your metrics are off, rather than like focusing on every single micro thing, like my performance is a little bit too slow. You feel like, I don't know, you're at, like, basically you focus on the bigger funnel things, and that the ones that are measurable, you can actually easily find that there is sometimes huge gaps, because I've been asked sometimes to optimize like performance or like some small SEO, like technical SEO things. Like basically there's some like issues with schema and stuff, and sometimes they're almost irrelevant. But then I like check some other things on the store, and I feel like the people ask me to like change this, but then I look at like their checkout completion rates, then I look at their generally how people just drop off on the product page very quickly. Basically, like the session times are low from ads, and I'm like, I don't think those technical issues are at all a problem. It seems to be like there's an actual problem with the offer versus the ad, or there's a problem with the checkout in terms of maybe like the shipping fees, or sometimes there's misconfigured shipping where it actually doesn't ship to certain addresses like regions, countries, and you get people in the funnel from those countries, but you're not actually shipping to them. That happens too. Or the shipping fees are different for specific countries and they're too high, and you just have forgotten that you never changed them to what you have in the primary market, for example. But yeah, this is very ecom specific. Although it general case applies to everything else as well. You can apply it to the SaaS products. You can apply it to anything else. Yeah. The bigger picture usually matters more than these micro optimizations we always try to make on the small features. We're gonna add the small feature here. We're gonna add the extra we're gonna change the color on the add to cart button. We can add this extra like padding here below the element, because so it looks better. Like, some of those things actually do matter a little bit, but not as much as people think. But yeah, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. I need to do the call out again. Maybe when I make these call outs, that people actually start subscribing. I mean, that's what they tell you always to do. Like, if you don't do the call out, people don't subscribe. YouTube channel was somewhere higher in the chat. It'd still be visible. Okay. Did I want to? Yeah. I mean, oh yeah. Remote OK failing the Core Web Vitals assessment. I'll definitely tweet on that. It would be nice. It would be nice to poke the bear again. Oh yeah, and then I was returning to the paper inside thing. That was my offer, and this yeah, okay. I can also the other point, paper insight concept pre-launch, 90% off. So I had this paper insight concept pre-launch, right? And let's just say it didn't go that well. And I already knew it probably won't go that well because I just positioned it badly and I was not spending time on the landing page at all. Like I just wanted to get a couple people in to test out the concept. Now I literally discounted 90%. But I would expect like time wise it to cost, and I still believe that price is too low for my time investment. But I felt like if I optimize the processes, I actually could generate some insights in bulk and then just also drip feed them to people every week. So maybe I just adjust something in like during those weeks, but like I already generate the key like key insights that I feel I could deliver every week, and I'll already like do them in bulk, so I kind of save that time without context switching. But the idea was that I basically go through people's data. Um, I go through everyone's data. I go through everyone's information they have, their landing page and everything, and I kind of like do a small. I pick out some points that I see the opportunity to improve something. I make a small report. Basically, maybe that's gonna be a video or also a written type of thing, like a Notion document with maybe images or a video. I'll make a report of like how it looks right now and why I think it should be improved and what's missing or what needs to be improved, and then I give some kind of bullet point plan what exactly they could do to improve it. And it's up to them what do they do with the insight. They could throw it out, they could implement it as is because they believe that actually makes sense, or they could adjust it based on their deeper knowledge, because I obviously would not be working with them. Like I would not know their business as well as they do. I would just be from the outside perspective. Now, from an outside perspective, I often can see a lot of issues. Some of those issues might be there for a reason because they don't matter, but often people don't see those couple issues in their business model. So someone from the outside can come in, look at it, and give the insights, provide the insights. So I had 90% off here, right? I got those two sales, but because it's 90% off, it also looks too cheap, and I didn't probably make it clear. Because technically, like, if you don't want to pay like an Href subscription, like Hrefs Life for like 119 whatever dollars it is, you don't want to pay SEM Rush for $140 a month, and you don't want to like pay for all those tools and then do the research yourself. Maybe you sometimes want to actually pay someone else to do some of it for you and just give you the insights instead of you buying the tools and doing the work. You sometimes might be like, I actually want someone else to help me with that, because I would only be providing the insight and the report of how I see it. So you're still doing the work. I'm only there to give you the ideas. You give you the basically some kind of plan for some things I see could be improved. SEO ads, conversion rate, like copywriting, think analytics as well, maybe helping with reports, maybe even like business operational stuff. If I get the context for it, that I'd be like, yeah, maybe you can actually improve it with a different strategy. So I still have one slot available for those $49 here because that's that pre-launch sale. Because I literally only sold two, and it's funny because on the same day I published this, which is $49, which I would say for many who have an existing already thing, it's actually more beneficial sometimes than to get the consultations, because you actually get insights what you can improve. And for some people that might be more beneficial than just have a consultation. But on the same day I launched this, I got a consultation sale for the unlimited one for 2.5k. So I find it a little bit. I find it a little bit funny actually that I failed to sell more of these, although I maybe didn't also get even that many impressions on this, and I managed to sell like the consultation offers that are more expensive. And yeah, the consultation offer obviously can project more value, and it often has more value. It's just that in different contexts, I feel like this one is more beneficial, even in a if you're an established business. I think you or established creator already doing some solid MMR, I guess, monthly revenue, monthly recurring revenue. I would say that even the full price would actually make sense often compared to consultations, but that's specific. You might even want to do both at the same time, like you want to have someone to consult with and then also provide you some additional insights on maybe even on the topics you've been consulting with, so the SEO, etc. Yeah, I find it a little bit funny that I failed to actually sell out those 3 slots. That I would say is a very, very cheap bargain deal. Probably the positioning is bad, and maybe the people actually don't have enough data points, or they don't feel like they even have enough data points available to share for me to provide those insights. That could also be the case, by the way. I'm not denying that the positioning there is actually relatively bad. But yeah, that's the nesters.me/insights. There's 1 slot available. Now, would I? And that was my day 2 live stream as well, where I explained the concept and how to say. And I think even yesterday with Catalan, like we did a roast. I think it was already also part of the showcase how that some of the process might go, where I reviewed the website and also gave some insights what to do. Now, obviously, that was more than one insight. I went through his blog, I went through this website, I went through this X profile. Honestly, it wasn't as well structured, but I could actually put the full months of insights there, right? I could just structure them better and give them a more clear plan what to improve where. But I probably in yesterday's research could have actually packed in a full month of insights. It should be those full price would be $500. But I would need to spend more time polishing it, record a small snippet of talking about it and showcasing. So it's not just like I could take that live stream, for example, and pack up like 4 insights. It's more like the research part I actually did in the 1.5 hours or so, or maybe 1 hour that I spent specifically on Catalan's project. I think I did enough research that almost I could do for a month and then just plan, which actually is the harder part to do the bullet, like the step-by-step plan, what you need to do, and communicating it well so people understand. But yeah. Oh, I've been streaming for already like more than 50 minutes, I guess. That's nice. Oh my god. Yeah, I guess it's been more than 50. But my plan was for these daily live streams that I do this week, that I do them 1.5 hours. I can't promise I'll do 1.5 hours. Yeah. All good. I mean, I should be going to sleep, but I'm not going to sleep this early. But yeah, have a good afternoon, I guess, evening, Friday evening. For you, I mean, it's Friday night already. For me, it's I guess evening for you. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're actually learning something new. That's also like one of my goals, obviously, to try to provide value with each live stream. And even those live streams where I didn't exactly have viewers, or normally they tuned in for a very short period of time, I think I provided value. I might be able to package some of them in like smaller bits of videos or ideas. So I would need to go over like the transcripts later and then package them maybe in tweets, maybe in smaller YouTube videos, etc. But I realized because I do most of these unstructured, I don't have like good segments to directly publish as videos or shorts. I know that some content creators, including the Devin Nash, which I recently also started his 1 million subscriber challenge, which I actually like that idea of his challenge, the way he's doing it. He's doing it 3 live streams a week, up to 5 hours, I believe, each. And then just also from the live streams, he has an editor cut pieces of content into videos. So there's like long, like 20-30 minute videos, and then some shorts. I believe one short a day. So, but he also has some idea and topics and set up for that. That when he starts talking about it, that segment is more coherent, so he can actually cut it out, or editor can cut it out, just cut some pieces out. But there's a decent segment where he's talking. Like for example, yeah, now I could actually do a segment on the Core Web Vitals assessment, but I didn't even think of bringing it up today. So if I would want to truly cover it, I would talk about it a little bit differently. So I feel like I would need to redo the segment. Now it's also a little bit too perfectionist, I guess, from me, but I know that I should cover a couple things differently if I would talk about it in a very authoritative and concise way. I would need to actually word it a bit differently. But hey, there's at least one tweet idea about remote OK that came out of that segment, and maybe I should actually cover the performance metrics, how much they matter, as maybe in an X post and as well as maybe a short video on YouTube, so everyone can finally understand what it means. I know people. I know some people understand, but I also know a lot of people actually still don't get the performance metrics, or at least how much they generally matter and how much and like what to look at. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, Dennis. Yeah, it's been nice also having you today because I didn't have my top chat, the other top chatter, which was Miguel. He tunes in sometimes as well, and then you tune in. You're the other top chatter. I guess you both basically chatting about equal amounts. You're just appearing on different streams, and then there are the silent streams. Uh, yeah, I decided to respond to something in small small batch community chat. Even forgot what I wanted to talk about. Okay. I've been going through this for 1 hour now, right? Yeah, 1 hour. 30 minutes. I'll probably wrap it up after 30 minutes. Friday night. A little bit tired. Oh, it's a pretty big testimonial. The image looks actually pretty huge. Um, yeah, in the small bets community, there's also a chat messages about how I guess we're on the eastern side of Europe. As kids, also had some experience and exposure to, I guess, to to American culture, and as through movies and some people who I visited and stuff, and pretty similar talks where we felt like everything was so accepting and open and tolerant back then. And now it feels so much different. Even the social media exposure to the the US, and especially when looking at political stuff right now, seems insane. And now it feels like I'm actually having way more tolerance or just peace. I mean, peace is a relative term now because we have a war not far away now, but it feels way more peaceful, like internally, compared to what can be seen happening in many places in the US, or even now in there's some other Western European countries as well. Like, it's like this kind of shift. It's like so weird to see. Not like we don't have some conflicting issues politically or otherwise internally either, but this is that's also like I don't even want to bring that topic up much. It just was a conversation also in the small biz community, just a couple of chat messages. But it just feels so insane, like how the tables have turned in terms of like the perspective I have, how the perspective I have, and how it helps people in general seem to feel. Because nowadays I also hear so many people from the Western European countries or even the US be like, yeah, they visited like the Poland, or they visited like Austria or Czech Republic. They visited even maybe like they visited the Baltics, right? And they just feel like it's just so peaceful, it's so calm, like. And I'm like, that's kind of like the default, it actually was worse, and it's actually, I would say, it's better now overall here, but it's kind of been like that, like. And you would previously, when I was a child, I was always looking at the feeling like, it's so free in like the United States, for example, and in even some Western European countries. It always felt like, damn, it's kind of like so much tolerance and freedom and everything, kind of amazing, but now it feels like it's turning the opposite way somehow. It feels that way. Doesn't mean all things are that way. They just the perception changes. Okay, so actually the weekly wrap up. Today I even went through the 90% off. Another thing I went through today was actually the page speed insights slash core web vitals assessment. Right. That's a huge part of today's stream. I'll keep that. I'll keep this, and this will be And the remote OK, I guess, will be my. Oh yeah, I should have posted. Yeah, I created that Blue Sky account, the Twitter clone. Created an account there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be using it or not. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be using it, but created the account there. I should have posted the streams there just in case I get random user on the Discover feed, who checks in. Should have posted the links, link to the X broadcast. No, I'll probably just post the link. I mean, YouTube or just the Twitch. I mean, just not just Twitch, but just YouTube. Is there anything else I can cover today? And what else did I do? So I roasted those. Oh yeah, the Black Friday prep. I roasted the two sides. First donation. Yeah, that was basically the weekly wrap and today's live stream. So that's more or less the weekly wrap. Yeah. Actually, have kind of ran out of topics for me to cover today. I will. I will actually post on X about this. I won't stop. I won't stop myself from posting that. Doesn't need to lead too much, but I just need to remind myself to post about it. And yeah, check. I mean, thanks anyone for tuning in the chat today. They actually had the most chatters today out of all, like more active chatters out of all these live streams, I guess, because I had Orly in the beginning, Travis and Dennis. All of them left some messages today. That was actually the most I guess maybe the more active chat was actually one of the guest live streams, I guess. But this was also pretty active. Out of this week, probably the most active chat. Yesterday was more of a roast interaction with Kathleen and the Yuri, which I'm happy to be able to have helped a bit. Post Kathleen's course, which is changing. The course page is changing, and also this already updated. Yeah, we develop startups in 6 weeks. Even changed the text a little bit, so it's more clear that startup is being developed, not they build the whole infrastructure. Like maybe like whole infrastructure in terms of also like business bureaucracy and everything. It's just development work. Speaking of Blue Sky, I do like some things about Blue Sky. I'm not sure I will like the experience there, but I do like the thing that you can kind of select your algorithm, as in you can select your feed type 2. You can select that you want to only see for example, only the mutuals, so the ones you also follow back, who follow you and you follow back them back, that you only can see that feed, that you can only see the feed without the reposts, that retweets. And then there's like the interest based feeds, and also what your not your friends, but what your followers, what people you follow like. So there's like you can choose those feeds, and you can see different posts on those different feeds. So you can choose the type of feed you want to see. Now you can sort of build some of those things with those feeds in the Pro version. What is it, the Pro X thing, right? And the some of those third party apps, I guess, and also the lists. You can sort of build part of it on X as well, but it's not as intuitive and just like a select the feed based on these criteria, and you're done. Like you don't need to like set anything up. You just go to the feed section, you browse the one you want, you select it, and you're done. And you only see the posts from with those with the filtering mechanism, basically the algo applied that way. I actually like that quite a lot. The fact it exists. I'm not sure how well it will perform. Like the more like what you're like what the people you're following, for example. Like I'm not sure how well that field, for example, feed performs, but I like the idea. So check that platform. I'll see at least what kind of content there is, and also how those feeds perhaps shape the way the platform operates, grows, and people interact with each other. I'll just pay attention to it a bit, but I'm not sure if I'll be active on it as much. I've been staying on X even if I don't post as much, I don't interact with people as much, I don't leave the replies as much as I should. I don't post on LinkedIn as much, even though probably a lot of potential clients for me could be there. I know they are in ecom. I just try to avoid like just working with ecom, so I'm trying different things. I mean, hell, I'm even making money from these live streams. It's a very horrible hourly rate, but I have gotten one donation now, so I'm probably making around $1 an hour live streaming right now. That's why I have the cardboard background streaming directly from a box. Couldn't afford anything else. I should get that should get the Mahmoud should get the bridge dweller Mahmoud Razmi, the one who philosophizes under the bridge. Should get him as a guest, I guess. Would be kind of funny, especially if I have the cardboard background. I guess he has his 9 to 5 project. I can't exactly roast him as much or talk about it as much. But it would be nice if we could actually find a topic that we could talk about. But it is what it is. And yeah. Yeah, my idea of the topics has already died down. One thing I'm thinking about back of my mind is like doing that Roblox SEO course, but and I will be live streaming some of those sessions, I guess, but that's like a lot of mental energy to actually wrap it up like this creatively, how I'm gonna incorporate those elements. Like I know the topics I want to cover, but incorporating them in the 3D world. Sure, you're having those banners like on the side of the roads and everywhere, like it's easy. Like you set up those like basically slides there. You can easily incorporate that, but incorporating that with the mini games and like some kind of interactive elements. Um, I need a little bit more energy for that. Like, I actually need to like have better sleep so I can actually do that properly and go through those sessions of like couple hours, like let's say 4 hour sessions, and actually just make the big progress. Because I do want to spend a couple weeks where I actually spend more time on that, and then like get a demo out that I can test out with a couple people for like one section of the course. See some feedback, reflect on it, and then move on. Why did I close that thing now? Oops. All right. Why is it not? Okay. I think I should set up a roasting session for this. I think when I bring this up, failing core web vitals assessment, I think I should set up like for next week, right? Just set up a roasting session maybe for this. I know some things are fixed now. I know some things are finally fixed here, but I can't click into it without having a user now. What do you mean? Is there a link? Can I? Oh, so I can have a link if I directly copy it, but if I go from the okay, so he indexes that this way. All right. Wow, the job listings from like even from UX experience wise, like related jobs, and then you just post jobs from like 3 years ago. Like, what is this? Bro, like, can you continuously infinite scroll me with job posts from 3 years ago? The job post for 3 years ago. That's a hot job with a 0 pay, like literally 0 pay. You gotta be kidding me. So I work for zero money. Zero money. I work for free. It's a hot job, and it's from 3 years, from 3 years ago. Now this is a small thing compared to like this is even a smaller thing compared to the failing that thing that he said he is focusing on. But why do you even load these jobs from? And I'm pretty sure this means that because you're loading this and rendering all this, you're even making those metrics for page speed insights worse. Just avoid loading any of this. Like, I don't know like what the cutoff point is, but I assume any job that is like any job listing that is more than a couple months old, it's probably relevant. Market conditions change, positions get filled. There's no way. There's no way you haven't filled that position for a couple months for most of the jobs. Not saying all of them, most of them. At least your requirements might have changed, or the salary range you're actually paying might have changed. So anyway, yeah. So I'm not sure why all these. Sure, you want to show more jobs. You want to have the links to the other jobs. So you're technically improving this internal linking. You're supposedly thinking about like indexing, right? Like, but come on, nah. Just be indexing back to the category page, which I suggested. But no, ain't gonna do that. Like, no, he has categories. Here. This is the thing. At some point, he did implement that. Here, what the hell am I having here? Okay, I want. Gosh, where did that page go? I need one of those job links, okay? Copy link address, right? I can copy the link address, link copy, then I can go to the specific job listing, yeah. And here you have actually the category selection filter, right? And when you click, it goes to see remote senior jobs. Now I'm pretty sure before that was not actually the case. He had not listed. Now this thing has actually been improved, and I even see those filters you could click on. I believe he hired someone, and more of these things get fixed at some point. But before that, they were not. I yeah. But hey, they have some things fixed. Hmm. I might go through this site and not today, obviously, but I actually might consider this as a potential target for some auditing or like roasting, not auditing. Just one live stream I could dedicate to it. Hey, was it recent change? I feel like it was even a recent change. Oh no, these filters are not actually filtered out the same way. Let me check. If I do this, the canonical is actually not the NA, right? Oh no, it is NA. So actually this is indexed now. Remember before, not all of these pages were indexed separately. Wait a second. Wait a second. What the hell? Oh god, yeah, no way I'm gonna find the... I would need to use another tool that actually pulls in all the sitemap things. Not gonna go through that right now. I wanted to check because I think what... Because I think what also made it inconsistent for the whole thing for his site was that the filters were not indexed. Like, I think the filter values were indexed, but the base single filters filter combination were always indexed. But there was some issues with the single filter indexing. It was some odd thing I checked, like the categories were not indexed correctly, and because you're not indexing the base category, your internal like page rank is a little bit wonky. I would need to like double check that. I can't guarantee that was the issue, right? I just remember something about that issue, so I wanted to check. And I kind of feel like I just checked. I felt like I didn't see it indexed, at least not with using the site prefix. But there could be other issues why I didn't see it. I feel like it's not there. Yeah, I'll return to this page some other day. I actually wanted to roast it a little bit. Have it this deep unsatisfied urge of actually roasting this one. It's just a deep feeling that you have deep down inside. You just haven't done it yet, so you need to do it once in your life. I'll probably post a tweet today, but Friday nights are not good times to tweet. To even like put it in front of people, and then the algorithm just liberates it by just burying it down into nothingness. But yeah, the YouTube channel is here. I would appreciate if you a newsletter as well. Actually, nesters.me/newsletter, but YouTube channel as well. I'd appreciate you would subscribe to the YouTube channel. I actually use the marker, and wow, I'm not used to look at the camera. I'm not used to like putting a marker on the screen. It's like confusing me. Not on screen on camera, but I should actually write down /YouTube as well on the background. I should make a redirect to /YouTube that redirects to the YouTube channel. There's I guess a little bit of a benefit. I can collect some insights on performance of the links. But then again, I get that anyway if I leave it in the link tree, for example. But yeah, I'm about to be done with this stream. It's pretty late here, and hope to improve my sleep again because I've been sleeping in some almost like Eastern by the Eastern US time zones. I guess for people who are going to sleep early, I've been sleeping like at the East Coast US while being in East Europe, Eastern Europe. And one thing I want to solve is that my I don't know what's up with the Gumroad, but Gumroad is just not responding to my support request. Like I've sent one request about taxes like 2 weeks ago, I believe. If I'm not wrong, I sent it 2 weeks ago, and then and that was about taxes. Yeah, it was actually 1 month ago. It was 14th of. They didn't respond. The Gumroad support. Now I send another one now, like today, and they don't care. I mean, and I couldn't like. There's no like the chat bot that is on Gumroad like tells you to like, oh yeah, you should do this or that, and they tell you to go to the bottom of the homepage and scroll down and press on the contact form. But when you go to the homepage, you see the courses, and there's an infinite scroll functionality. So you try to scroll, they just load more courses. And even if you filter out courses, it just shows no courses. The link there didn't even work. So I'm confused, like because I have like a couple $1,000s now stuck there, and they haven't paid out. Like the payout from like almost a month ago is constantly delayed. Like some transactions just start building up, and they're not paying out. So probably need to call them out on X or something. Maybe that's how they respond quicker. But or reply to one of their tweets like, "Where's my payout?" Because it's weird. Like, is there like, did I get flagged for something? Did I make too much money in those 2 days? Like those 10K or whatever it was? Did I make too much money in like 2 days? What happened? Because they did do the initial payout, which was the most of the money I made on Gumroad. But a couple thousand that are stuck here now. I want my money, guys. I want my money. Where is my money? And I see it in the sales, like the also unlimited consultation sale lately from 2 days ago. But I don't see it appearing even the next payouts either. Like I only see those other transactions that are still stuck there. So I'm like, for fuck's sake, just give me my money. It will be so bad if I actually end up not getting paid out. Like that just close my account like PayPal or Stripe sometimes does. I mean, I am planning to switch it to Shopify, by the way, so you can't avoid that. Like, I am switching to Shopify, but please pay the money out that you still have. Getting pissed off about it. Like the overall experience as someone who's selling on Gumroad from Europe, or who's even buying on Gumroad from Europe, I honestly feel like the experience has been terrible, including that automatic, like that default tipping option being turned on for something that's like expensive, right? I might have literally lost couple sales on that first promotion, like not promotion, but anyway, the recommendation by Daniel, because maybe on those unlimited consultations, there was actually an automatic 20% tip on top of it. And people be like, "Oh, you want me to pay $400 tip, right?" Well, like if that was, I'm not sure if it was because it was on a cheaper offer because there was a person who paid me $80 tip because they didn't know what the etiquette is on Gumroad. So they paid it because didn't want to be the only one who doesn't pay. But they were the only one who ended up paying. So I have a feeling that if there's other people who felt that pressure, and also that probably a pretty bad association with how the sometimes tips are perhaps extorted from people in the cafes for even bad service, even for bad service, right? With a 20% tip or something. I mean, it's just a bad association. So if those tips were turned on at that moment, I might have lost a couple conversions. And I didn't even know that. I did not realize I need to check that on Gumroad. But it was on by default, apparently. Anyway, annoying. Because it just forces people, because that tip is pre-checked or was pre-checked. Like, so the people need to opt out of the tip. Speaking of which, I'm not sure even in Europe that's actually would be reasonable to do, but like maybe it only happens in the US. Maybe that's why I didn't see it when I was testing. Could be. That might be true because maybe in Europe you actually can't do that. No idea. Because it's kind of like false advertising as well, right? Yeah, the live video and the live streams. I mean, some of these live streams have quite a lot of value. Obviously, they're very long, so they're more like podcast type of thing. But a lot of things are relevant to what shows up on the screen, so you can't really necessarily listen as a podcast. So it's not a great, I guess, listening experience. You want to be live, you want to be interacting. Like I can help with some problems. We can discuss some things live outside of the live stream. I mean, outside of the live stream, outside of the recording, but live. Anyway, yeah, I've been over 1 hour, 30 minutes. I'll probably wrap this one up. Next week, we'll be doing. Next week, I might do a Roblox SEO building session. Hopefully, at least one live stream. Might be doing some schedule things, and might do the roast on remote. Okay, it depends, I guess. But a couple of those things. Oh gosh, my background is shaking. Couple of those things I'm definitely doing next week. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for checking in. Thank you for chatting, Dennis, Travis, and Orly. I'll see you guys in a small bets community. I'll see you guys on X or maybe even Blue Sky. Although not sure about that one. Time to roast.